What's good, y'all? Welcome back to KEEM Vlogs. And today we're going to be talking about Fujifilm cameras and which one that I own and how or who do I recommend these cameras to and what was the user experience for me was like. So if you're looking into these cameras, so I've owned a Fujifilm X-T3 and X-T5, Fujifilm X Pro 3, X100V, X106, and also Fujifilm GFX 50R. So I've owned all these cameras, and these cameras are going to be what I'm going to be talking about. So the XT30s, I've never owned those, the XS20, but I would also, in the end of this video, I would let you guys know what I think of those cameras and why I didn't pick those up compared to the ones that I picked up. So my very first Fujifilm camera was the Fujifilm X-T3. And then later on down the road, I did upgrade to the X-T5. And why did I pick up the X-T line? And that is because I love that SLR design that they have, and also like the tactile functions that it has on the top of the cameras. So you're going to be able to change the ISO and the shutter speed on the top part. And then if you want to change, of course, the aperture, you could do that on the lens. So I could just do those three because I do shoot full manual, and it was so easy for me to be able to just do that real quick all on the top of the camera, sometimes without even leaving the EVF. And who do I recommend the X-T3 and the X-T5 to, or the X-T line in general? So if you are going to be photocentric and you want capable video capabilities, this line is for you. So the X-T5, it has IBIS, and also the kit lens that it comes with, it has OIS. So if you're going to be taking panning shots or even moving postcards or just video clips here and there, 10 to 15 seconds, or even 1 to 2 minutes if you're going to put it on a tripod, that will work great. Also, if you want to use it for YouTube talking head, that'll be great as well. The only thing is, since the screen, it just flips up, you would want to get this mirror attachment to it. Or if you want to just connect it to your phone so you'll be able to see it, or get an external screen, you'll be able to do that as well. But why did I pick up the XT camera? Like I said, because I like the SLR style, and also it inspires me just to go out there and go take photos with it. The photos that comes out of the XT5, it's amazing. So it had the latest sensor when I first got it. It was the 40 megapixel. And if you pair the XT cameras with the f2 Fuji lenses, those are super sharp. In my opinion, the 35 and the 50, those lenses are super great. And if you want weather sealing on that as well for your camera, so you would have that with XT5 and with those lenses. And specs wise, I don't really want to go into the spec too much. All I would say with the XT5 is that it has 40 megapixel, it has IBIS, and that is more so for just user experience in real world. Those would be a factor to whatever it is that you're going to be using it for. And that ties into my next portion, which is the X100V and the X106. So I did have the Fujifilm X-T5 and the X106 in the same time. And the crazy thing with Fuji is they do share the same sensors within these cameras. So I would look at this as a pro. So if you're looking into, oh, I can't decide between the X-T5 or an X106, all it is basically is aesthetic and also interchangeable lenses. So now you're just going to be asking yourself, do I want a rangefinder like camera that you're going to be getting with the X100 line? And you could get OVF, EVF with this. Or if you want an X-T5, you'll have interchangeable lenses, and both of those cameras would take absolutely the same exact image if you have the same lenses paired within those systems. But the thing is, of course, with the X100 line is the lens that's stuck with that camera is optimized for that lens. So of course that lens would be best. So if you're going to be just taking photos with 35 millimeter and it's going to be for travel, I definitely suggest the X100V or the X106. Let's talk about the X106 a bit more, just because it is the latest and greatest, and it's probably why you're going to be looking at reviews for the X106, or just to see if it is going to be for you. So the X106 also has IBIS, but the IBIS on this, comparing it with the X-T5, well, because that lens did have OIS, it was a lot the IBIS was a lot less usable for video for me when I'm doing my video postcards, or if I'm just simply just holding the camera and panning it around or just trying to hold it still. I found that X-T5 IBIS, in my opinion, was better than X106. I'm not too sure if it's because of the body or, like I said, because my lens did have an OIS on it. I'm pretty sure that would have effect on it. And that's what I noticed taking videos with this. Not to say that X106 videos is not good. If you have this on a tripod or if you have way more steady hands than me, it'll work out great. And who do I suggest the X100V or the X106 for? This is for just everyday carry camera or perfect travel camera, in my opinion, because the form factor of it is very compact, and you could literally fit this in a jacket pocket. You could fit this in a small bag, or you could just carry it, you know, on your neck or in your shoulder with a strap. That'll be fine as well. And the battery life on the X106 is crazy good, just like the Fujifilm X-T5. The X-T5, you could go on a full day and you won't need a charge at all with the X-T5. And with the X106, it does still carry the same exact battery as the X100V. I believe they optimized this system a bit better, because the X100V, some days I would use 2 batteries, and then the X106, I would just fully use just 1 battery. I did have an extra battery for it, which I'd never use. So that's how good the battery life on the X106 and the X-T5. If you really like the rangefinder look of the X100 and you want interchangeable lens and you don't like the SLR, I did get the X Pro 3. And the X Pro 3, of course, is a lot older than the X106. So I would compare this more so to the X100V and compare this with the X-T3 as well, and not the X-T5. So it has 20 something megapixel. I can't remember, 24 megapixel. It doesn't have IBIS. You are still able to use the OVF and EVF on this. And the main knock for the X Pro 3 that people didn't like was the screen was inverted in. To be able for you to see the screen, you have to kind of flip it down. So it's a little bit awkward. It's like a folding phone. So you flip it downwards this way. I didn't mind it at all. It prevented me from chimping, which I rarely do anyways. And it was fine for me. The X Pro 3 user experience, though, I did love that camera. If anything, I love the handle of that camera way better than the X100V or the X106. It is bigger than the X100 line. And I did love the functioning of the interchangeable lens. The crazy thing is, though, I only had this camera for a couple of weeks because of its main flaw. And that is that flipping screen that I'm telling you guys about. It could just fail, and then you won't be able to use that screen at all, the back screen. And of course, you could just look into the EVF, and then you could do your settings, your menu, you could do your playback into that. But I was within the warranty, and I just decided to basically return that camera. Since I did a bit more research into it, the X Pro 3, it would fail. That it's like a tab in the very bottom that connects that screen is the main flaw, and that's the main reason why I didn't want to pick up another X Pro 3. If Fuji decides to never do a X Pro 4, I would possibly pick up X Pro 3 and just bite the bullet, and then every how many years or so send it in to, you know, be able to replace that and get the screen up and running or whatever. In my opinion, or for me, the X Pro line is my favorite line in the Fuji X series system. And then the last camera that I bought from Fuji is the Fujifilm GFX 50R. And GFX, as you know, is a medium format, so it's not the X series. And they have their own lenses, the GF lenses, which I believe it's its weakest point. I did try out a couple of GF lenses, and the other GFS that I really want but I never got to try was the 55mm f1.7. Just because after I bought the Metacon 65mm f1.4, I fell in love with that combo, and it was just amazing that I didn't need to get a more expensive GF lens, because it needed everything that I wanted to do, that combo could do photo wise. And the details, the contrast, just the files and the photos that came out of this, from the raw files, the JPEG, it was amazing. if you want the best photos that you're going to be getting for Fujifilm, get a GFX. They are going to be a lot bigger, of course, and it's going to be a lot more pricier. But the 50R, you could get them now for, I believe, $2,500, and then a Metacon lens about $600, if I remember correctly. So for about $3,000, you're going to get this combo. And this combo, I would take this any day over the X-T5 if you're strictly going to be using this for taking photos and you don't mind having a bigger body and bigger lens compared to the XT line or the X100 line. If you want, it's so hard for me to explain how good it is, just the files whenever you're editing it, or even straight out of camera, because you're still able to do film recipes. And in the GFX 50R, it's going to be rendering, of course, different from the X series. I found that with my recipes, whenever I transferred it over to the 50R, the greens are a lot more pronounced. The white balance is a lot different as well in the GFX line, but you could tweak it in the camera, and then you'll be perfectly fine with it. And who do I suggest the GFX 50R to? I already said it. It's basically if you want the best of the best, just strictly for photos. If you're going to be using this for clients, for portraits, or even as a hobbyist, if you want just to get that medium format look that everybody wants from film, you're able to get this. This is literally the closest thing that you could do is get the 50R with the Metacon combo. You could get that look if you're stopping all the way open at f1.4. I usually do it at f1.7 just because the vignetting, I just didn't want to deal with it post editing and everything. So I did go at f1.7, and then at f4, f5.6, that lens is super sharp as well. And now let's talk about the cameras that I didn't get to own, but of course I've tried out, and that is the XT line, with the 30 and the 50 line. So these are just a tier below the XT3 and then the XT5. If you don't need the extra features as the XT5 have, go ahead and pick up the XT50 and the XT30 as well. And then another thing is the XE line, which is a compact interchangeable camera that Fujifilm offer. I didn't pick up an XE line because it just didn't really pop out to me like that, so I never even got to try it out at all. But looking at the specs, like I said, they do share the same sensors within itself. So if you have a X-T5 and XE5, it would be redundant because you're going to be getting the same exact quality. The only difference, of course, like I said, is going to be aesthetic wise. So if you like the look of the XE5 better than the X-T5 with the SLR, pick up the XE5. Same exact thing with the X106. It's a pro and a con with the Fuji line, but I don't really see much of a con. A lot of people that I've seen on threads mostly is people complaining about it's just the same exact sensor. But to me, it's just you get more options to what it is that you would want within these Fuji cameras. And it's solely nowadays, I feel like cameras are so good. It's more so it's depending on you, on the user experience with that camera, and also the aesthetics of the camera. Because if you're shooting RAW, especially, every camera, no matter what the megapixel is, over 24, it doesn't even matter with the price. If you're not inspired to pick up that camera, you won't be shooting with that camera. And that's the thing with the Fujifilm that I really like is you could pick up an X106, an XT5, or an XE5. You're going to be getting the same images between those, of course, respectively with the lens. And it's all for aesthetic purposes and the user case. If you want an OVF, get an X100 or X Pro. If you like the SLR body, XT5. If you like a more compact body, get an XE5. So Fujifilm basically gives you all of these options within it itself while sharing the same exact sensor, which I truly like with this brand. And this is why I stuck with Fujifilm for a little while as well and tried out all of these. And let's go back lastly to the XS line. So the XS line is geared towards video, and that is why they have the screens that flip to the side. And I know the X-T4 has that as well. And that is what I believe when Fujifilm, they wanted to make the X-T line more of a hybrid camera but a lot of people didn't really like that because people bought the XT line mainly for photos. They weren't really taking videos with it, but it was good for some people. Some people really did like it because now they get to use the XT line hybrid. They could even shoot videos with it and take photos with it both ways just because of that screen. And it's really good, like if you need it for vlogging, anything like that at all. And the XS line is basically just the XT4, but the XS20 and the XT10 or XS10 is, I believe all of those, in my opinion, is just all in the same line. And if you're going to want to use Fuji for video, you would use those. And also the XH line. I never got the XH line as well because I'm a photographer and I didn't really do much video. So I didn't bother even getting those cameras and even trying it out. And last but not least, of course, is the XM5. I've seen a lot of people enjoy that camera. I see it a lot more often than not out whenever I'm out traveling, and people just have the XM5 just because of how compact it is and how good the quality of the photos you're going to be getting with it. Like I said, that they share the same sensors with other cameras. So if you're going to get that more in a compact body, and if you're going to use it for travel and you don't want to spend a little more for the X100 line, or you just don't like the experience with the OVF and you're perfectly fine without having any OVF or EVF, and you just want a little point and shoot camera, this is the perfect Fujifilm camera for you. And that is it for me for this video. If you got any more questions about Fujifilm and the cameras or the cameras that I mentioned that I have owned, go ahead and comment down below and ask me and I'll answer you the best I can. And that is it for me for this video. If you guys did like it, go ahead and like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.